Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 9, 2025 Public Board Meeting of the Halton District School Board. I'm going to try that again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 9, 2025 Public Board Meeting of the Halton District School Board. These meetings are open to the public so that all can see and hear our deliberations and how each trustee votes on the business before us in an open and transparent manner. I would like to extend a special welcome to our guests, both in person and online. We are happy to have you join us this evening. I'll start with the roll call. Vice Chair Oliver.
Good evening, everyone, and happy new school year.
Trustee Ahmed.
Good evening, Chair, and good evening, everyone.
Trustee Baxter.
Good evening.
Trustee Bryden.
Good evening.
Trustee Daniele.
Thank you, I'm here.
Trustee Gray.
Hello there.
Trustee Horn.
Good evening, everyone.
Trustee Rocha.
Good evening.
Trustee Zhang.
Good evening.
I know Trustee Wobenhorst will be here momentarily. Student Trustee Ho.
Good evening.
And Student Trustee Shu.
Good evening.
I'd like to extend a special warm welcome to our new Associate Director, Jenny Petko. I don't see our new superintendent. He's not here, okay. And also to Trustees Wobenhorst and Shu as they join us for their first board meeting. Director Ennis, please let us know which staff are in attendance this evening.
Thank you so much, Chair Collard. Good evening, everyone. We have a full complement of staff this evening to support the meeting.
Thank you. Tonight, Trustee Ho will be honoring the land.
Thank you. We begin by acknowledging the land and our responsibility to care for and respect all that provides us with life. This land upon which HDSB is situated is on the ancestral treaty and title lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Mississauga Nation, now known as the Mississaugas of the Credit. Mississauga territory in the past and present continue to host both Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. The HDSB is committed to continuous knowledge building with respect to actions that address and resolve the ongoing impacts of colonialism. We do this by learning and understanding the true history, treaty obligations, duties and responsibilities, and Indigenous rights, while actively maintaining mutually beneficial relationships and collectively respecting and caring for the land.
Thank you. We are now up to item 1.3, approval of the agenda. I would like to amend the agenda to move item 5.1.2 to 5.1.1 due to the presence of delegates regarding this item. Trustee Horn, would you like to make a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Certainly.
And Trustee Zhang, would you second this motion?
Yes, please.
Are there any objections to approving the agenda as amended? Just checking for any speakers. It's a little bit slow today. No speakers. Okay, seeing none, the agenda is approved by unanimous consent. Are there any declarations of possible conflict of interest for this evening's agenda? Seeing none, we are now up to item 3.0, delegations presentations to the board. 3.1 is the Inspire Awards. We have no Inspire Awards this evening, although I'm told we will have a large number in October. I will now ask Trustees Gray and Horn, the co-chairs of the Inspire Awards, to share some information about our awards.
Good evening, everyone. So as we are just starting the school year, it's a little bit more difficult for us to get out the gate with some Inspire Awards. But what the Inspire Awards do is they honor and recognize the people that live within our community, work within our system, and are involved with our school in promoting student excellence, well-being, and supporting both our students and our families. There is the Inspire Award application form. You can find it on hdsb.ca, and it is my favorite part of this board meeting to introduce. So hopefully we have lots of applications going out throughout the year. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We are now up to 3.1, Student Trustee Oath and Declaration.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again. This is an exciting time when we have our student trustees for the year 25-26. And with us, we have Caitlin and Jay, and they will be taking their oath of office this evening. And so, Caitlin, you'll be first.
I, Caitlin Ho, do solemnly declare that, in accordance with the Education Act, related legislation, and Halton District School Board policy and procedures, I will truly, faithfully, impartially, and to the best of my ability execute the office of student trustee. And in my role as student trustee, I will comply with the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act and the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, recognizing the importance of maintaining the confidentiality of the board with regard to matters that are dealt with in closed session, and declare not to divulge any information of the contents of any material shared with trustees in closed meetings, whether or not I am present and or participating in the closed meetings, and that I am not disqualified under any requirement from being a student trustee member of the Halton District School Board.
Declared before me at the City of Burlington in the Regional Municipality of Halton on this 9th day of September 2025. Now we will go over to Jay.
I, Jay Xu, do solemnly declare that, in accordance with the Education Act, related legislation, and Halton District School Board policies and procedures, I will truly, faithfully, impartially, and to the best of my ability execute the office of a student trustee. And, in my role as student trustee, I will comply with the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act and the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, recognizing the importance of maintaining the confidentiality of the board with regard to matters that are dealt with in closed session, and declare not to divulge any information of the contents of any material shared with trustees in closed meetings, whether or not I am present and or participating in the closed meetings, and that I am not disqualified under any requirement from being a student trustee member of the Halton District School Board.
Declared before me at the City of Burlington in the Regional Municipality of Halton on this 9th day of September 2025. I want to present to you Trustees Ho and Shu.
This is the space in our agenda where we usually have a student trustee report. I realize it's only the second week of school, but I wondered if you had anything to say this evening, student trustees Ho and Shu.
Yes, we have something prepared. Good evening, HSB staff, parents, and students. My name is Trustee Ho. I'm a grade 12 student at Abbey Park High School, and it's with immense honor for Trustee Xu and I to officially introduce ourselves as the 2025 to 2026 student trustees of the Halton District School Board. Throughout our journeys as HSB students, and now for me returning as the representative of 67,000 students who call HSB schools their homes, words cannot describe how excited we are to work together in platforming student voice throughout the upcoming school year.
Good evening. I'm Trustee Xu, and I am a grade 11 student attending White Oak Secondary School. Since the announcement of the election results in February, I have attended a number of meetings and worked on numerous projects along Trustee Ho, as well as some initiatives on my own, and we would like to provide an update on what we've been up to.
Now, first sharing what we've been up to. Despite a relaxing and tranquil summer break, Trustee Xu and I have been hard at work wrapping up some exciting initiatives from the last term and also preparing for success for the school year to come. We first turned our attention to improving and preparing for Student Senate success in particular, which included listening to the feedback shared by our over 200 HSB student senators and acting to make that form of discussion even better. To that end, our previous student trustee, Trustee Ochu, and I were able to finish collecting Senate Executive Council and Subcommittee terms of reference to encourage an even more productive Executive Council for this next year.
Since joining the Senate myself for the first time back in March, the Student Senate welcomed me with open arms, and we were able to case some remarkable experiences together through each passing meeting until the end of the school year. From a brief introduction at the beginning to delivering a presentation myself in April, and finally a farewell at our last meeting in June, those 4 months have truly been incredible, where I was able to learn a lot from all the students who were part of the Senate.
As we head into another school year with the Student Senate, our commitment to accessibility, transparency, and equity have never been more prevalent. With every school in the HSB conducting Senate selections starting this Thursday, Trustee Ochu and I filmed 2 videos right here in the board office over the summer to guide administrators and students alike through the Senate selection process. To add to our efforts, Trustee Xu and I, along with our newly selected Student Senate co-chairs, Giovanna Astante Tutu and Charlie Ochu, developed a 9-page Senate recruitment package for administrators featuring tips for selecting the perfect student senator candidate, student-designed student senate posters, announcement templates, and much, much more. Trustee Xu and I are looking forward to collaborating with the Senate co-chairs, a new role we've added for Senate starting this year, as we navigate yet another amazing year with the HSB Student Senate.
In May, Trustee Ho and I had the incredible opportunity to attend OSTA-ACO's annual general meeting, where shortly after the conference that sparked within me tremendous growth as a student leader, I was honored to have been selected as the Creative Services Coordinator on the Ontario Student Trustees Association's leadership team. In July, I then attended the inaugural leadership meeting, where I participated in more professional development and contributed to brainstorming over future conference plans and the organization's directions. On August 20th, Trustee Ho and I went through our student trustee orientation with Trustee Kohler and Trustee Oliver, as well as Director Ennis and Associate Director Petco, who gave us a warm welcome and a detailed outline of the responsibilities of a student trustee. As well as our meeting with the CEO of Halton Learning Foundation, Mark Clear, we believe that we are ready to take on this role.
Finally, circling back to a major advocacy project Trustee Ochu and I had last year, I was able to lead the HSB Mental Health Day Task Force to continue and complete our Mental Health Day Handbook, which is now under review for finalization. It is incredibly exciting to see this initiative come to life this upcoming school year through collaboration of student trustees, the Mental Health Day Task Force comprising mental health student leaders from across the board, and the HSB Mental Health team. I am looking forward to sharing updates regarding the outcome of this project well within my next term moving forward. In terms of some quick goals and outlining a few objectives we would like to work on moving forward this year, Trustee Xu and I hope especially to work hard to champion, listen to, and provide more opportunities for student voice to resonate in every single piece of work we do. From promoting kindness, connection, and community through all aspects of our school environments, to continuing meeting students where they are at in terms of mental health and initiating many more important conversations, Trustee Xu and I are committed to being the megaphones for what students truly want and need within the HDSB.
Firstly, we hope to address the hygiene and vandalization of bathroom facilities across various schools within the HDSB by ensuring that these bathrooms are clean and sanitary environments for all students across Halton, and taking a kindness, connection, and community commitment-based and other approaches. Our end goal is to ensure that students can feel safe and comfortable accessing fundamental facilities such as bathrooms during school hours. With this goal in mind, not only do we wish for hygienic bathrooms across the community, but we also hope to encourage all students to take pride in this community and share the responsibility for monitoring and maintaining of these spaces.
Another area of advocacy Trustee Xu and I hope to dig into is the issues regarding busing and transportation for students across Halton District. Through many conversations with students, we hear that transportation costs are on the rise, and Trustee Xu and I are committed to working with governing bodies, local officials, and students to ensure that cost is not a hindrance to getting to school every morning. Beyond the monetary costs and accessibility of transportation, Trustee Xu and I are also interested in highlighting the environmental costs, looking especially into how technology and the rise of artificial intelligence impacts ecosystems and the environments around us.
Promoting student comfort and success in curriculum feedback is also one of our priorities. We hope to actively hear from students when it comes to difficulties they may be experiencing regarding course materials, to ensure that both students and staff are enjoying the content taught and the method that they're taught in when they're learning in school, while also having success in it, is critical in our embodiment of the Learning, Achievement, and Success Committee of the Multi-Year Strategic Plan.
Finally, Trustee Xu and I hope to create many more ways for students to simply get involved. After receiving over 300 applications for the Student Senate subcommittees last school year, we hope to extend more opportunities to students outside of the Student Senate to get involved in Senate discussions and advocacy. This also looks like continuing mental health days and supporting student leaders at their respective schools, as well as creating a network to connect student councils with the Student Senate and also with each other. Trustee Xu and I's commitments for the next year are all issues we've observed or heard straight from students. And it's with our great honor that we work towards making the students who have elected us and whom we represent proud.
In conclusion, our initiation to the HDSB Board of Trustees has been incredible, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank all who have helped us on the way in. From our staff advisors, warm welcome and guidance, and Trustee Ochu, who were crucial in serving as a mentor for me and providing insightful guidance. We're incredibly honored to serve as Halton's student trustees for this upcoming school year.
With that being said, we conclude our student trustee report, and we look forward to turning our big ideas and passions into even bigger achievements this next school year. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to our student trustees for such a comprehensive report in the first meeting of September. You've got a pile of stuff to do this year, I think. Are there any questions for our student trustees this evening? Okay, I'm seeing none, so we will move up to our next item, 3.2, delegations. As per our delegation governance procedure, each delegate shall be allowed up to 5 minutes to present their delegation. Delegates must refrain from using derogatory language and from making statements that would personally identify individuals, including students, staff, community members, or trustees. Any delegate who fails to adhere to this restriction will be ruled out of order by the chair, and their presentation will be immediately terminated. I would like to welcome Marianne Mead Ward, representative from Elect Respect and Mayor for the City of Burlington, to the podium. Welcome, Marianne. You will see that the timer is at the top of the screen, and it will count down as you go. Please monitor your time accordingly, and please begin when you're ready.
Okay, thank you so much. It is a real honor to be in front of you this evening, and it's actually been quite a while since I've been back to these chambers and see some familiar faces and some new faces. It's wonderful to be here. I will tell you that the security protocols have changed since the last time I was here. They let me in, which is awesome. But signing in, asking for identification, having security guards flank the room, that wasn't the case several years ago. And I think it speaks exactly to the need for why Elect Respect is in front of you on your agenda this evening. That there's been a rise of incivility across the globe, but certainly right here in the city of Burlington and the region of Halton. So, of course, I'm here to speak in favor of the motion from Chair Collard and Trustee Gray, who have actually been instrumental among other trustees in bringing this forward to you. This pledge came from a group of women that are elected representatives. We call ourselves Her Halton. Twice a year we convened. I call it my support group. And we got to sharing stories about a year and a half ago of what it's like to be a woman in elected office. And everyone had a story about how challenging it is. And when asked, would you recommend this to your daughter, to student trustee, to anyone, we all had to pause on that. I have 2 daughters, and my husband is here this evening with me joining. We shared stories that are heartbreaking, that are intolerable, that are terrifying. In my own case, earlier this year, I had someone threaten to set me on fire if I came to a public meeting about a development that they didn't want. I was advised by authorities not to attend that meeting because they couldn't guarantee my safety. That's my job, is to go to public meetings. And I was further advised for the next few months not to walk to work. I live 4 blocks from work, environmentally friendly to walk. I had security guards accompany me to my public meetings for a number of months as well to ensure my safety. This is not about disagreeing about policy. This is not having vigorous debate, which you want to encourage in a democracy. This is about people trying to silence voices that they disagree with. And that is simply intolerable. So we have people who think twice before putting their name on a ballot. We have people leaving elected office. Right around the time that we were having our conversation, a member of Parliament, Pam Demoff, announced that she would not run again because of the abuse that she had to endure. Terrifying and unacceptable. So our democracy depends on having a safe workplace for all elected officials, from trustees up to members of Parliament. And, you know, as I say to folks, I'm your mayor, I'm not your punching bag. We're here to serve the community, all of us. And so the Elect Respect Pledge was born because we thought, well, what can we do? And the first thing every single one of us can do is say what we're about, to lead by example, to say, I pledge to treat all of my elected representatives, my colleagues, the public with respect. I pledge to treat people in my community with respect. And in return, I ask you to do the same. But we can't ask that if we're not willing to lead by example first. And that's what the pledge does. And it's different from a code of conduct, which is kind of imposed on you. It's a condition of your employment. You follow it or you don't. If you don't, there are consequences. Often it predates you. You didn't have anything to do with it. This is very personal. This is telling people what you're about. Do you choose and pledge and commit to being respectful? And once you take that pledge, the public can hold you to account. You said you would behave better. Live up to what you said. And the public can take the pledge as well, to commit to supporting candidates who will take this pledge and to committing themselves to respectful debate. And I'm pleased to say, and you'll be the first to hear it, this is hot off the press, 120 elected officials from across the country, most recently we heard about some in Nova Scotia and PEI, have taken the pledge. 7 candidates currently running in by-elections, 287 citizens, 13 municipalities all across Ontario, and 1 school board. I hope that's you, the first. So with that, I will close. I'd be happy to take any questions, and thank you so much for your consideration, and again to the movers of bringing this motion forward.
Thank you. Do we have any speakers or questions for Mayor Mead Ward? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. I think you spoke very clearly about why this is needed. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry, Carol, did you just ring in? You're trying to ring in? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No worries.
So we have a new system. I have failed to use it properly. I'll be the first to admit. I just wanted to thank you for bringing this forward. I know that it's been spearheaded under your leadership, although it's been a group effort. I was lucky enough to attend one of the meetings, and I did hear some stories that I won't repeat from sitting MPs at the time that were very frightening. I've experienced harassment myself in this role, and we've seen in many places, town council in Oakville that was shut down. Unfortunately, ministers Virani and Jolie, who had their homes targeted, and recently, for those of us who live in Oakville, Minister Anand, who had harassment on her front lawn. So from what I can see, there's a growing movement here, I think, to sort of undermine democracy. And exactly what you're talking about, I do wonder if that's the goal, to discourage folks from running and to convince those of us who are already in the roles to think twice about running again. So I'm just wondering, when I saw the video of Minister Anand's home in her neighborhood and her neighbors being subjected to that, have you discussed anything beyond the pledge about anything that we can do? And one thing came to mind years ago. I know the Jewish community physically surrounded a mosque in Oakville when they were being targeted. And so it was, a chain of people who came and said, we're protecting these people. So is there anything that you think beyond the pledge that we could be doing, I guess, openly, physically to show support when something's happening? I'm thinking about, should we walk you to work? I know that sounds kind of silly, but I know it was done for a child in Toronto who was being harassed, right? So do we need to get out there and show the folks that are getting in the street and harassing our elected officials that we will also get in the street and do the opposite, provide support?
I think that's a great suggestion, and one of the things that we're doing is developing a little lapel pin with the logo of Elect Respect, and so we're going to give that to everybody who has passed a resolution or committed to the pledge as a visible sign. I can tell you that the most powerful thing that we all have that nobody can take from us is our voice. And yet that's the first thing that people will come for. And you're absolutely right that this is about intimidation. It's about silencing. It's about making every one of us think twice about our support for an application, a support for a policy, a support for a position on anything. And, we're not going to stand for that and be intimidated. And I can tell you that since the pledge went out, it's been equal parts heartwarming and heartbreaking, because so many people have called us, reached out, emailed. I just came back from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference, and people were stopping me. They had seen the pledge and telling me their story. This is far beyond critical comment, debate about an issue. This is threats of bodily harm. This is vulgarity. This is demeaning language. It's misinformation, which is a whole other category of harassment and abuse. And it's very hard to combat and getting worse. And I can tell you that people coming together to add your voice to other voices means we're not alone. And that's the thing that I've heard the most from people who have come across the pledge is, I thought it was just me. And, you know, I've been an elected official a long time, since 2010. And I didn't speak up a lot about the harassment I was experiencing because we're told politics is a blood sport. Well, it's not, and it doesn't have to be. I don't accept it. You don't accept it. Politics is the democratic lifeblood of our country. Let's treat it with some dignity and respect. So we're saying no. I'm tough enough. I got, as soon as the pledge went out, the first comment that was left on my Facebook page was, weak women shouldn't be in politics. I mean, that just gives you an idea of the culture shift that is required here. And we're all tough enough to be here. And in public service, I would extend this to your staff too. You face it just as much, and we need to make sure that everyone feels that they're in a safe workplace when they're in public service. We're all here to say enough. I don't accept it. I'm tough enough to be an elected official, but I'm not your punching bag. And so the power of that is incredible. It's like, don't be a bystander bully. When you see somebody being attacked, speak up. And I can tell you, the people who have come to my defense when they've seen the protests, when they've seen the online abuse, that has been really heartwarming. It is kind of the digital equivalent of walking to work with me. So yes, please support each other, say what you stand for, and look out for each other, because sometimes it's hard to be your own advocate. When others can say, don't treat my colleague that way, it's unacceptable, it carries a strong message as well. Thank you.
And we do have one more question, and that is Trustee Bryden.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Mayor. I greatly appreciate this initiative, the leadership that you're demonstrating and that I'm hearing is resonating across local governments throughout the province and across the country. And I wonder if you could speak a little bit to the value of local government, be that municipality, school board, or otherwise, in being able to hold up this vision of democracy that we are trying to build.
Yeah, it's a great question, and you know, we are the elected representatives of the people. We represent, we listen to our community. We're there to make decisions on behalf of our community, and one of the best definitions I've heard of democracy is the ability to choose the people you lead, but choose it in a way without war and bloodshed. We do it at the ballot box. We do it by vote, not by not at the end of a gun barrel. And that is an enormous privilege at all levels. We need our elected officials to feel safe coming to work. And while, you know, when I started talking about the things that I personally experienced, people were saying, I can't believe that a mayor of a mid-sized community in a place that people in, you know, Alberta have never heard of, right? Or, I mean, I'm not the prime minister. Trustees are often an overlooked level of government. People don't understand what you do. People don't understand the value of that direct connection to the community by the ballot box, that the public get to choose you, choose their folks that will lead you. And so people are amazed when I say that sometimes the abuse is worse at this level, at the local level, at the municipal level, at the trustee level. And some of the stories that I've heard from the trustees have just, they've been terrifying and heartbreaking. And so it's really important to spread that message, not only the importance of all levels of government and local government, which is the closest to the people, right? They can see us in a grocery store. The downside of that is they can see us in a grocery store. And I know that some of the stories that I've heard is people being verbally assaulted, people being followed, On my car key, our health and wellness folks gave me a key fob. It's called a screamer, that if somebody were to approach me, like many of you, I was threatened with citizen's arrest during COVID. I could pull that apart in the grocery store if I needed it, right? We don't have a security detail at the local level, and we shouldn't need one. But that's how terrifying this is for many people. So, without being able to protect elected officials, will elected officials run? And then where is democracy? That's the heart of it.
Thanks for coming this evening. We appreciate all that you've had to say, and I hope you'll be able to stick around for the vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Andrea Grabentz, former HDSB trustee and former chair of the board. So as with the previous delegate, the timer is at the top of your screen. And if you are ready, please begin.
Democracy in education is under attack. And that's why the Elect Respect campaign matters more now than ever. Chair, trustees, I speak to you not only as a community member, but as an HDSB parent, former trustee, and former chair. I know how vital trustees are to the health of the education system. Trustees are not obstacles. They're the heart of democracy in education. The Elect Respect campaign protects that democracy. It ensures elected officials can serve without fear, harassment, or intimidation. By supporting Elect Respect, you send a clear message. Respect, integrity, and democracy are essential. Right now, the greatest threat isn't anonymous trolls online. It comes from the Minister of Education and the Premier of this province. They have openly stated their goal of eliminating elected trustees in 2026. Across the province, trustees have been warned to stay silent. Speak up, resist, and you risk being erased. That is intimidation. That is the opposite of respect. Premier Ford said that he needed a mandate in last February's election, but he never mentioned eliminating trustees. He has no mandate from the people for this change. If this was always his plan, he hid it. If it wasn't, he's playing fast and loose with the education of 2 million students and millions more to come. Removing trustees is not a small change. It strips families of their voices. Trustees are the only democratically elected representatives whose sole responsibility is education. You bring forward community concerns, listen to parents, speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. You also do the crucial work of examining provincial policies against the real world of the classroom and push back when policies harm student achievement and well-being. This board has demonstrated that again and again. Erased trustees and families, students, and communities lose their voice. The Elect Respect Pledge calls on the leaders to reject harassment and abuse. If that principle means anything, it must apply here. Because what we see from Queen's Park is harassment, intimidation, and abuse of power. This government thrives on populism, counting on parents, not realizing what's being taken until it's too late. That is why you must not only stand firm, you must shine a light for parents and communities. Show them that losing trustees means losing their say in their child's future. If you do not fight back, this government will dismantle democracy in education piece by piece. But if you do fight, if you do speak loudly, call out intimidation, and rally parents, you will not be ignored. This is no time to go quietly. Respect is not silence. Democracy is not obedience. Trustees are not expendable. I urge you, support, elect, respect boldly. Live it boldly. Stand up, fight back, call parents, communities, and allies of democracy and public education into this fight. Show Ontario that trustees will not be erased, because when trustees defend their role, they defend the voice of every family and every student, and that voice will not be silenced. Not here, not now, not in Halton. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, former trustee Garbantz. Strong words spoken. Are there any questions for our delegate? I think your words spoke volumes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
We move on to presentations, and we have no presentations this evening, so we will move up to our consent agenda. For approval, we have the minutes from our board meetings on June 17th and June 23rd. For receipt, we have the approved minutes of Committee of the Whole from May 20th, outstanding action items, board report schedule, policy and governance procedure review schedule, summer 2025 programs and activities for HDSB students, 2024-2025 PIC annual report, and the quarterly update. We also had a number of pieces of correspondence throughout the summer, which are appended to the agenda. Are there any? Oh, just a second. I will read the motion. Be it resolved that the HDSB approve the consent agenda and receive the information items for September 9th, 2025. Trustee Baxter, would you make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, please.
Trustee Zhang, would you second this motion?
Yes, please.
Are there any items that need to be pulled for discussion? Okay, Trustee Bryden?
I'd like to pull 4.3.6.
4.3.6, and Vice Chair Oliver.
I'd like to pull 4.2.5.
Okay, we'll start with 4.2.5 since it's earlier in the agenda, and I will ask you to please proceed with your question.
Okay, thank you. Through you, Chair, to the Director, I wanted to thank you for this wonderful report. I'm truly impressed by the variety and the range of the scope and breadth of the programs that were offered to our students this summer, which aimed at certainly supporting student achievement and well-being, commitments of our multi-year strategic plan, and the role that we serve as trustees. By my rough estimate, over 14,000 students in grades ranging from grade 2 to 12 benefited from taking these programs during the course of the summer. That's a really huge number of students. And I do have a couple of questions. So if I could maybe go one by one, I've got 3 questions. How are students selected for the math and literacy skills programs and those programs that support mental health and well-being? A lot of the other ones were more of a optional of interest, but these were the key ones that addressed perhaps learning gaps and deficiencies. Okay, and my second question, was every student who needed or chose one of those programs accommodated? And if not, and I'm specifically thinking about the students who were flagged somewhat for perhaps their deficiencies, were those students put forward to their new teacher so that those teachers can understand their potential extra needs and provide supports to support them during the course of this year to close any learning gaps? And my third question, did you receive any feedback from staff involved in the delivery of these programs that could help to support them better in next round, next summer, let's say? Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Oliver. Certainly, we're very proud of the breadth and depth of programs that we offer our students in Halton throughout the summer. I know that most folks think that school year ends in June, at the end of June, but we have a rich tapestry of programs that we offer each and every summer. As you see in the report, I believe this is the first time we bring forward such a report because I wanted you and the community to know all that we are offering in the Halton District School Board. We are very pleased that our Minister of Education, Paul Calandra, came and visited during the summer and saw the great programming that we're offering here in Halton, and so we're grateful for his visit as well. I certainly heard from parents that they were very pleased with our offering and that we could support learning throughout the summer. So to answer your question, I'm going to ask Superintendents Frankovich, we have Superintendent McIntosh, Superintendent Barnes, Superintendent Connor, any and all who are involved in the various programs to answer accordingly. Go ahead, please.
Thank you for the questions, Vice Chair Oliver. I'll start with the grades 2 to 5 elementary programs in both literacy and math. So in terms of selection this year, we had families directly register their children upon reading the program description. Within the first 24 hours, we had nearly 1,500 applications. So that is something that we are going to look at moving forward as well. The demand was really through the roof this year in terms of those programs. I think your second question was about accommodating needs of students. And in 2 to 5, we worked closely with special education services and in some cases provided some EA support as well as special needs transportation for students who required that in order to accommodate their needs during the school day. In terms of seeking feedback, we do always survey our educators at the end of the session. We wrote the 2 to 5 program in the summer of 2024, tweaked it based on feedback for this year, and we plan on doing the same as we solicit the feedback and then plan ahead for next year. Then I'll turn it over to Superintendent McIntosh for the Gary Allen portion.
Thank you, Superintendent Frankovich. Thank you for the question, Vice Chair Oliver. So in terms of the grades 6, 7, and 8 literacy and numeracy programs, there isn't a selection process per se. When the advertisement goes out, it is widespread and open to all students and families who wish to register. Similarly to the 2 to 5 program, incredibly high demand. Fortunately, this year and in previous years, we offer the program both in person and online. So that allows us and offers us the flexibility to meet a diverse range of students. And in some cases, depending on the needs of the students, we can accommodate them in an online program versus an in-person program for a variety of different reasons. Similarly, the demand for programming was exceptional. We didn't have to add any additional classes. We had enough staffing that was able to respond to the needs of the students. And so we worked closely with schools, similarly to what Superintendent Frankovich said, staff, administration, to help make recommendations and also to review students who do enroll in the programs to ensure that we are prepared in advance to receive them and meet their needs in a very responsive way. As far as feedback is concerned, similarly with the 6, 7, 8 program, we work closely with elementary programs to solicit feedback from teachers, and we continually make sure that the programming is reflective of the current teaching and learning practices that take place on a daily basis in year in the school. So we're annually revising those programs so that they are current and up to date. I'll pass it over to Superintendent Barnes, who's going to talk a little bit more about student health and well-being.
Thank you for the questions, Vice Chair Oliver. I would say for student well-being and mental health department, one of the things we're proud of is the open access to our programs. So working with the communications department, the message goes out to parents who self-refer their students to our programs, and then they engage in a call with our mental health staff to get enrolled in the programs. So this is about the second or third year we've done the programming. The timeline is really tight for the planning. We do appreciate the support from the Gary Allen department because we do engage a mental health literacy teacher alongside our CYCPs and our social workers for the enrollment of the program. So that has been very positive. We're also very proud that we had expanded our program to 3 regions, Georgetown, Milton, and Burlington this year. So we hope to build upon that in the future years. Feedback loop is continuous for feedback from our staff and students. So we appreciate the support for these programs. There was a question about the program staffing, and that's based on the funding that we have from the Ministry of Education, and we do expand that as best we can.
And our next speaker is Trustee Bryden.
Thank you. I'll note that Trustee Rocha was attempting to request to speak, but is not appearing on the list. In regards to the letter regarding setting a professional development day on election day, I can see 2 sides to this coin. One is it is wonderful to have school space available to hold election sites, polling sites, and on the other hand, when we have polling sites in schools on active school days, it makes it easier for parents to vote. And so my question to our staff would be, do we know how many of our schools are already serving as polling places when the schools are in regular operation?
Thank you for the question. Trustee Bryden, I'm going to ask Superintendent Godet if you would speak to this question.
And sorry, just to clarify, the question was how many schools? Yes. Thank you. So this past electoral cycle, the provincial election, we utilized 65 of our schools on election day. And then for the federal election, we used 56 schools to accommodate the election. There was also advanced polling that utilized 8 of our schools for the federal election.
Thank you, and now we will move on to Trustee Rocha.
Thank you. So I wanted to piggyback off of Trustee Oliver's request for report 4.2.5. So through you, Chair, my question is, some of the programs had very low attendance, and that is less than 10 students attended the programs. Are those programs at risk of not being run again, or are they being tweaked so that numbers can enrollment can be higher?
Thank you for the question, Trustee Rocha. Certainly, as you heard from our superintendents, we have a continuous feedback loop. Certainly, depending on the program that you're referencing, we have a targeted audience, such as we have our Indigenous programs, which speaks directly to our Indigenous students, and sometimes the critical mass is not there, so the goal really is not to have a large number, but to make sure that we are given to those particular students learning that supports their achievement as well.
And then I do have a follow-up. We didn't request this report to be removed, but I'm not sure why my system's not working. And that's the 4.2.7, the quarterly capital update. And my question is regarding the high school in Oakville. The opening date right now on the report shows TBD. Is it realistic that there may be a fall 2027 opening for that high school in Oakville?
Superintendent Godet.
Thanks for the question. The progress on the site is quite active, and we are hopeful to get the building enclosed by this winter, which will be a significant milestone that'll help us achieve that target date. So at this point, things still need to align so that we can enclose the building to get moving on the finishes. If we don't enclose the building before the winter, that'll provide some added challenges, which will make that date problematic.
Sorry, so which date is problematic? The one I threw out there or the one, because there's no date listed on the report.
I do believe we've committed to the minister that we hope to achieve that September 2027 date, but we're not in control and care of the site, and so it would be ill-advised for me to commit to such a date. Like I said, once we get through the winter, and if that building's enclosed, it'll be a lot more optimistic.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, are there any objections to approving the consent agenda? Seeing none, the consent agenda is approved by unanimous consent. We are now up to section 5, items for ratification action. And the first item is 5.1.1, the new 5.1.1, Elect Respect campaign submitted by Chair Collard and Trustee Gray, report 25095. Trustee Gray, would you move this motion?
Yes, I would.
Trustee
Yes,
Danielle,
I would.
Trustee Danielle, will you second this motion?
It would be my honor. Thank you.
Trustee Gray, would you like to speak to this report?
Yes, thank you very much. In light of the two passionate delegations that we've had this evening, I think the intent of this motion is very clear, and the report is as is before you.
Thank you, Trustee Gray. Is there any debate? I'm waiting. I have Trustee Baxter.
Thank you. I got it to work. Through the chair, to the chair, just a comment, note of appreciation. I was thrilled to see your name on here, and that you'd already signed the pledge. So thank you for that, and obviously to Trustee Gray as well for our collaboration. Definitely in support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers? You still can't get in? Trustee Rocha?
I'm not on the speakers list, but I fully support the motion.
Thank you. Okay. Your elbow partner thought you wanted to speak. Okay. Seeing none, we have exhausted our speakers list, so I'll be asking you to cast your votes. And at this time, student trustees Ho and Shu, please raise your hand if you're in favor. Is the vote closed? That vote is closed, and it has passed unanimously. Thank you very much. I love that passed unanimously. I really do. Thank you very much for supporting this motion. And thank you to our two delegates this evening who were very well spoken, bringing forward real concerns from lived experience. Thank you. We will now move on to item 5.1.2, which is the Striking Committee Report, Restanding Committees, submitted by Chair Collard and Vice Chair Oliver, Report 25096. And the motion reads, I can open this up. I am still getting used to this new system. That the Board of Trustees merge the Board Self-Assessment Standing Committee and the Trustees Professional Development Planning Standing Committee to form one standing committee, which will become effective in December 2025. And that an ad hoc committee be formed to work on the name and terms of reference for the newly merged standing committee, with its work to be completed by November 15, 2025. And I believe that Trustee Rocha would like to recommend a amendment to this motion.
My request to speak isn't working, but thank you for calling me out. So I'm in support of the motion. However, I would like to make a friendly amendment, and that is, in addition to what's written, add that the appointments to committees and other roles governance procedure be updated to reflect the same.
Thank you very much. And so as the motion is not yet on the table, I will read the entire motion. That the Board of Trustees merge the Board Self-Assessment Standing Committee and the Trustees Professional Development Planning Standing Committee to form one standing committee, which will become effective in December 2025. And then an ad hoc committee be formed to work on the name and terms of reference for the newly merged standing committee, with its work to be completed by November 15, 2025. And that the appointments to committees and other roles, governance procedure be updated to reflect this change. Trustee Oliver, would you move this motion?
I would like to move the motion.
Trustee Ahmed, would you second this motion?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Do we have any speakers? I don't see it.
So we thought we'd fixed it because when Trustee Gray and I looked at it, we thought, oh, look it, there's a microphone beside the thing. So my question is, and it's just a question, I would say probably more of curiosity, with the combining of these two committees, would the name just stay the same?
No, the motion calls for the name and the terms of reference to be determined by an ad hoc committee.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
See,
we're having a little bit of technical difficulty here. Trustee Rocha, did you want to speak? I'm being told that you want to speak a lot tonight.
No, I already. So, my button now is turning on by itself. I keep removing it, and it. Yeah, no, okay. I'm done.
I will deactivate it then, so then we won't see that. Okay. So, seeing no other speakers, I will open the vote. And student trustees, if you are in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you. And that has passed unanimously. Thank you very much for that this evening, as trustees. Very much appreciated. Now we are up to item 5.1.3, revised Board of Trustees and Committee of the Whole regular meeting schedule for 2025-2026, submitted by Manager Khan, report 25094. And I will ask, just get this on the floor. that the Board of Trustees approve the revised Board of Trustees and Committee of the Whole regular meeting schedule for 2025-2026 as outlined and appended to Report 25094, and that Section 5.3.2 of the Appointment to Committees and Other Roles Governance Procedure be deleted, and that Part 1 of Motion M24-138 be rescinded. Trustee Daniele, would you move this motion?
Put it on the floor. Yes, I will.
Thank you. And Trustee Baxter, would you second this motion?
Yes, please.
Thank you. And now I will open it for debate. Trustee Horn.
Did it work? Awesome. Okay. So my question is in light of an email that was sent out earlier today with on Trustee Rocha, from Trustee Rocha. And again, I think I'm just looking at how our meetings have really changed, and we really look at this in light of what Manager Khan has set out, in that we want to be efficient. We want to ensure that we have streamlined meetings. But my question is, so with the new regulations that we have to be physically in attendance to the meetings, if they are scheduled, so OPSPA sent recommendations out of having meetings that might not necessarily be formally scheduled, which would allow trustees to attend remotely. Is that an option that we would be considering as well?
Thank you for the question. The distinction would be between a regular committee of the whole meeting versus a special committee of the whole meeting. So where the restrictions or the new framework comes in is that for a regular board or committee of the whole meeting, if a trustee wants to participate electronically, they have to comply with one of certain restrictions or certain exceptions to be able to be permitted to do so electronically. That is not the case for special board and committee of the whole meetings. So if there's a special committee of the whole meeting that is called for a particular purpose, trustees that want to participate electronically could do so without having to comply with one of those few exceptions.
Okay, so I maybe my question's not super clear. I'm just trying to figure. So we've become a society of convenience. With COVID has made things so much easier. Like, although COVID was horrible, it gave us the options of having that remote participation and those types of things, which I think sometimes of board trustees, like myself and other trustees at the table who have very busy, strenuous jobs outside of their commitments to the board, to be able to participate while still maintaining their position in grander society. So my question is, and I don't know if I'm saying this correctly or not, but we have now specifically scheduled our board meetings and our committee of the whole meetings. And my understanding or my recollection is that if they weren't, and again, I don't know how it would work, if they aren't scheduled, then we have, so as you said, with a special board meeting, but a special board meeting would have specific goals to it, that we would have that option of having that flexibility. With having these scheduled meetings, are we pigeonholing ourselves into areas where some of our trustees might struggle to always be able to attend, and with the new guidance, not fulfill their duties as a trustee, if you know what I mean?
I think I know where you're going with this, and I guess the short answer is yes. With regularly scheduled meetings, there are particular parameters that trustees have to comply within, and going outside of those parameters for reasons that are not listed in the regulation would not be permitted, and it would not be advisable to do that. So this report tries to strike a balance between setting a regular schedule of meetings to ensure operational effectiveness and efficiency, while at the same time ensuring that there's not too much scheduled. So it tries to strike that balance.
If I may, I think I sense a disconnect here, and so let me try to fill that in, because sometimes when you're in between, you hear both sides. By having 4 that are scheduled instead of 10, and the 4 being scheduled when we are at our busiest times, that was Manager Khan's belief that because they are at our busiest times, we know that those will be needed, and the others could be scheduled if necessary. And of course, she wrote her report before we got the thing from OPSPA. So yeah, does that help?
Yeah, it does, and I do, and I want to thank Manager Khan. I think that what you've done here is great, and again, for me, I struggle with the idea that having those less frequent meetings, we may miss things, but found time for anybody, particularly with people with extremely busy schedules, is good for anyone. So I appreciate that. Again, I always in the back of my mind have that niggling thing, how have we been able to so quickly move from board meetings that ran until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night every 2 weeks to one meeting a month? So that for me, I still always pause and think, what are we missing? And it worries me. But apart from that, I think what you've done here is great. I think, again, found time is always wonderful. But that's all that, and that will never go away. That will never go away. So thank you.
Trustee Rocha.
Through you, Chair. So yes, I did share that email earlier with everyone, the one from OPSPA about suggesting that Committee of the Whole meetings weren't scheduled. That would grant more leniency as far as attendance. But I understand the rationale from having 4 Committee of the Wholes scheduled, and understanding that they're at our busiest period. So that's making a lot more sense to me now. So thank you. I did see an opportunity going forward. It's not in this motion or in this, we're not passing this part of the motion, but something that's been pointed out is item number 4 in the report, which references in our bylaw that some items have to appear before the board twice. So I think this may be an opportunity for us to ask ourselves, why? Why are things coming to the board twice? And perhaps our meetings can become that more efficient if we remove the double appearance. So I am going to support this motion, but as a takeaway, I would like us to, at a Committee of the Whole, discuss perhaps having things not come to the board twice. So that's it. Thank you.
And Trustee Baxter.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I guess it's somewhat on the same theme as Trustee Horn. I'm a bit concerned about time and to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success. We need adequate time in our board meeting agendas to discuss the items that are on there, and we certainly have had enough late night meetings, and I know nobody in this room wants to do that. So my request, I support the motion, but my request would be that those who are setting the agendas to be very mindful of setting enough time to have fulsome discussion, because given the current climate, I think that it's important that in our public meetings we're seen to have fulsome discussion and not be truncating the amount of time or the amount of discussion that we're having about especially policies. So if we're taking, I know what I've noticed is that if a policy is coming that we need to discuss or some other issue, we do that at Committee of the Whole, and then when it comes to the board meeting, which is filled with awards and delegations and lots of other things that we do in our board meetings, by the time we get to the board meeting itself, we're often able to just vote because we've had that fulsome discussion. So I guess my concern would be similar to Trustee Horn, that if we're seeing something for the first time in October and then we're expected to vote on it in November, let's make sure the October meeting really has enough time built in so that I know there's trustees who don't want to be in person for all of these meetings, but nobody in this room wants to be here until midnight or 1 a.m. So that's just a request. And then the second request would be for the PB&G committee. It looks like we're sort of moving a bit more emphasis on that committee for discussing things. So for those of us who are not currently on the committee who might want to just sit in and sort of get a heads up as to what's going on, if there could be some notice of when those meetings are so that we have the opportunity to join in. I just remembered you're the chair. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And moving on to Trustee Bryden.
Thank you. To speak to that very last point, the first meeting of the Policy by Line Governance Committee for this school year will be Friday at noon, and your agenda will be circulated tomorrow. The two things to say on this front. One is a question, first of all. Our bylaws allow for special board meetings. Does that extend to allowing for special committee of the whole meetings?
Committee of the whole is governed by the appointments to committees and other roles. It's not governed by the bylaw.
And having not referenced that off the top of my head, is there provision for a special committee of the whole meeting?
I think so, but I'm going to have to look that up. I'll get back to you, okay?
The reason for this is kind of pulling out the email we received from OPSPA and parsing through it. It took me a while to work through the Act and the regulations and had some conversation with some of the lawyers who were in attendance at the AGM. The Act has now been set up with almost a contradictory lines in it between 228 1B and 228 1E. That 1B says a trustee absents himself or herself without being authorized for 3 consecutive regular meetings. And then 1E says fails to be physically present as required by the regulations made under clause 208.1, etc. And that's the clause that says, the regulation that now says all trustees shall be physically present for all board and committee of the whole meetings. So that E, the danger that OBSPA is highlighting is that E could be read to say if you miss one meeting, you have vacated your seat, which is in contradiction to what 201.1b says. And so drawing on the ministry's messaging, they've said, we've got some certainty now around board meetings, but we have less certainty around committee of the whole meetings. And that's where their worry is coming from and why they are recommending against regular committee of the whole meetings. That's my reading of the message that they have sent to us. I just want to make sure that's clear around the table and that everyone understands what we are agreeing to as we agree to proceed as laid out. My reading of the Act is that's 228.1b clause saying 3 is institutes some can't be vitiated by the other element, but I'm not a lawyer.
I have actually asked a lawyer about this. Just the lawyer that we've used for our bylaws, and been told that the Ed Act supersedes regulation. But that we may see a change to the Ed Act, which is further why there's more changes that were recommended in that letter, which we won't discuss here tonight, but with regard to how we take attendance. So that exhausts our speakers list, and I'm going to open the poll for voting. Student trustees, would you please indicate by raising your hand whether you are in favor? Thank you. Thank you, and that passes unanimously. And as with all of the efficiencies that we've done, I just wanted to add a note that we have been becoming more efficient every 5 or 6 months since we've been elected, and it is adding up to quite a time savings without neglecting the work. I believe that by ensuring that we are doing things in a timely way, that we are really saving a lot of time. And one of the things that, in discussion with Manager Khan, you will note that our October Committee of the Whole meeting is 7 policies. So they've aligned the work of getting the policies done in time for the October committee or September Committee of the Whole meeting, so that we can vote on those in November. It's about aligning the work with the schedule, and so I'm thinking we're going to be able to make this work quite well. Moving on in our agenda. We are now up to Section 6, Communication to the Board, and the Director's Report.
Thank you so much, Chair Collard. And once again, I would just want to say we're off to a great start for the school year. I want to say a big thanks to all the superintendents in the room and all the great work that they have done to support our principals, who have done an outstanding job, our teachers, our custodial staff, our clerical staff, and everyone involved. Really created an environment that is warm and welcoming, inviting for our students. I had the pleasure of going up to Silver Creek on the first day of school to meet with parents and students coming for the first day. It was an exciting morning. I certainly walked into the gym where they have a school song, and you should see the coordinated movements of hundreds of students and teachers, including myself, to their school song to start the year. It was a sight to behold. But just great energy. We're hearing, I check in with principals and are certainly, as I see them, and with our superintendent, and we're hearing great stories all around. We have a save the date, HDSB open house, Saturday, September the 27th at 10 a.m. And that's going to be at Craig Kielberger School in Milton. We have our open house, and we're inviting all parents, guardians, and students to attend this event to learn more about our secondary programming opportunities in the HDSB, which are very rich. And we're just hopeful that many families will come out and learn all about what we're offering. The Halton Learning Foundation Back to School campaign is on the way, and the 2025 campaign aims to provide emergency support to students in need of food, school supplies, clothing, and other necessities. They have been doing a great job to support our students and our families for years, and we want to continue that support. The HDSB website has been undergoing a refresh, and I want to say thanks to Communications and Engagement, to Heather and her team. They have done an outstanding job in trying to make the site more fresh, modern, easily accessible, simplified, more navigatable, greater efficiency. The old version was a bit clunky and hard to navigate, and so we're doing some great work. I think with the great work and transformation that's taken place, we do have some things that we're still working through and working out, so we ask for your patience, but we're seeing a much improved version of our website that will serve us well. Our White Oak Secondary School students achieved perfect score in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, and so we want to say big shout out to Zaini Go and Bana Maruth, who achieved rare perfect scores in the IB Diploma Program. We're very proud of them and wish them much success in their future. Our mental health and well-being sessions for parents and guardians continued throughout August, and HSB invited families to a series of mental health and well-being information sessions to explore how we can work together to support our students. And I want to say a big thanks to all involved. And I know that Superintendent Fowler had a screening with parents in one of our movie theaters, and it was packed house, standing room only. Tell us a little bit about that, Superintendent Fowler.
Yes, sure. We actually screened 3 movies, and we screened one of them twice because it was so well received in Oakville at film.ca that we actually took it up north to Milton. So what it is it's screenagers. So there were 3 films in the series. The first one is focused on cell phones and how to introduce cell phones to young people. And the second one really focused in on the addictive nature of cell phones and how to navigate sort of those mental health challenges that come from using cell phones. And the third and final installment really focused in on vaping and alcohol use and abuse that is often promoted by social media companies. So parents were very, very positive. I'm thrilled our communications team attended the final session up in Milton at the Cineplex, and they actually spoke to many parents and guardians who were there with their children. And these all took place the week before the school year started. It was really refreshing to see, and lots of really great questions and information was shared. So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Superintendent Fowler. So other great things. We didn't believe that in the summertime we would get packed movie houses with our parents and students, but it was a success. We are certainly in the first year, full year of our multi-year strategic plan, and we have been just repeating that message to all of our administrators, our teachers, and our staff that this year is a year for us to really embed and drive all of our commitments in the multi-year strategic plan as the first full year, and we're receiving lots of positive feedback to that end. So we're hopeful about all that's going to come as a result of the directions that you trustees have set for us, and we want to thank you for that direction. Amidst all of our celebration and hopefulness, we, of course, with profound sadness, share the passing of a few of our members over the last few months and throughout the summer. First, we want to recognize the passing of Gnavi Ketu, kindergarten student at Post Corners. Gnavi will be remembered as a beloved student who was always kind to others. We remember Oliver Hoffman, grade 5 student at Clarksdale Public School. Oliver will be remembered as a kind, creative, funny, hardworking student and rock-solid friend. And we also want to recognize Jane Laws, student supervisor at Park Public School. Jane was charming and funny, and everyone who met her was enamored by her ability to make you feel warm and loved immediately. And so we are, offering our heartfelt thoughts and prayers to the families and friends and to the school communities who will dearly miss them. So I ask you to join me in a moment of silence in recognition of their lives. Thank you, and with that, I conclude my report.
I am seeing no questions for the director. If there are any, please bring in. Oh, under item 6.2, that's what I got. I'm sorry? 6.2? There's a microphone right there. Okay, go ahead.
2 items. One, on the website refresh, it looks really, really good. I think I liked it better this morning when my contact information was actually Trustee Ahmed's, so that he would be getting all of my calls. Appreciate that for the beginning of the school year. Thank you so much. But, funny, just thank you so much. You updated it really fast as soon as it was pointed out, and that was very impressive. My second question is around the mental health and well-being sessions. Sorry, I've got my back to you. I have to have the mic. Through you, Madam Chair, to Superintendent Fowler. Those health sessions sound absolutely amazing, but I was watching on the news this morning that one of the increasing concerns, and a lot of the medical doctors, the family doctors, are raising concerns about online betting apps and the advertising of those to our students. So that is the next thing, along with the vapes and the everything else. So I just wanted to put that on the radar as perhaps something to be included in next year's mental health well-being sessions for parents, because I think that from what I was reading this morning in the reports, that is significantly on the rise and a very deep concern for us children's mental health.
Thank you very much for those comments, Trustee Daniele. Is there anyone else who wished to speak to the director's report? Because I only got Donna. We added you manually. Okay, seeing none, I will move on to the chair's report. As you all know, last year I did a report based on the 6 commitments to the multi-year strategic plan, and this year I intend to focus on the work of HDSB trustees. This summer, the trustees at the Halton District School Board engaged in a variety of professional development activities, from our provincial and national associations annual conferences to modules and webinars designed specifically for school board trustees, to reading and engaging in individual opportunities for growth. Trustees have participated in an abundance of meaningful learning throughout the summer months. We also welcomed and assisted with the onboarding of this year's student trustees and our newest trustee, Audrey Wobenhost, who just started with us in the summer. The student trustees have already given their report for the evening, and you can see that they have an amazing year ahead. At the end of August, trustees attended the HDSB Leadership Conference, where we interacted and engaged with school principals, vice principals, and the senior administrative team. Throughout the summer, and especially in the last few weeks, we have responded to parents and community members who have requested assistance on everything from how to register for school, whether or not their child qualifies for transportation, and posed questions about new school construction and boundary reviews and the services we provide to students with special needs. We have heard from parents who are new to Halton and new to Canada. Families are so relieved to find a real person answering the phone or responding to their email, a real person who understands their needs and helps them navigate the system, a real person who lives in Halton. It is an honor for trustees to be able to provide this service for the families of our region. We do this not because it's what we were elected to do, but because we care about our students, our staff, and our communities. We value public education and strive to provide the very best education possible. And now we will move on to committee updates, and I'm aware that it's just September, so I'll ask broadly if there are any reports from our statutory or staff-led committees tonight. And seeing none, we will move on to the OPSPA update. Trustees Gray and Daniele.
Thank you very much. I know a number of us attended through OPSPA, the Canadian School Board Association's conference this summer, and I would just like to let my fellow trustees know that, I'm a notorious note taker. I have my notes from the keynote David Suzuki, the Balancing Politics and Governance on School Boards workshop, effective board meetings, and I believe I also did the trustee leadership series, as well as the keynotes as well, Marty Ford, Cindy Blackstock, Phil Fontaine, and Fred Penn. I didn't get much from Fred Penn, I apologize, it was all anecdotes, and Clara Hughes. So if anybody, I didn't want to presume to send out those to anybody who didn't want them, but if you would like any of my notes, please let me know. It has been a busy summer already for OPSPA. Given all the issues that are going, there will be more information coming forward. Please look for that from OPSPA. I'm in weekly meetings with OPSPA now. We have a Board of Directors meeting coming up at the end of the month. If you have any questions around OPSPA and what it is currently doing, I would ask you to please connect with me offline.
And Trustee Gray, would you like to add anything?
I know that was a fulsome report, other than to mention the Board of Directors meeting coming up. That was the only thing I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any trustee questions of clarification? Is there any trustee news? Okay, seeing none, I believe that brings us to the end of our agenda. And as our agenda is exhausted, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.